Thank you so much, Wilson, again for making time to speak with us at Wild Labs East Africa. I'd love to just go ahead and ask you maybe to introduce yourself and give us a brief overview of what the Mara Elephant Project does.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. So my name is Wilson Sairowua, and I work for Mara Elephant Project. So the Mara Elephant, what Mara Elephant Project does is actually anti-poaching work, mitigating human-elephant conflicts, and also protecting elephants' habitat. So under these three categories, actually, I've mentioned. So the Mara Elephant Project in the anti-poaching work is actually we have rangers. We have more than 90 rangers in the Greater Mara ecosystem, that is Mara, Loita, Mao. And the rangers are doing anti-poaching, daily patrol in the field, and also under the human-elephant conflicts.
Mhm.
The Mara Elephant Project have been able to call elephants in the Mara. So far, we have 25 active collars in the Mara. And since the beginning, that is in 2012, when we started collaring the first elephants in the Mara, we have been able to collar more than 70 elephants in the ecosystem.
Oh, wow. Hmm.
And so the Mara Elephant Project is using technology in terms of the human-elephant conflict mitigation and also in habitat protection and the anti-poaching. So currently, the technologies that we're using is, first of all, we are using the Earth Ranger. So the Earth Ranger is a software that was developed by the Falcon team, which is currently is called AI2. And this actually take over the wild. And the wild was really, if I can actually just say, the wild was really good in terms of bringing pharmacies and bringing all the stakeholders together. And that is the time we were using, all of us were using the same app. And so just a short history about the wild app is actually looks like the first the user said withdraw, and there was no one actually really managing the app, and we had a lot of issues that need to be resolved, but there was no one actually to go and solve the issues. And that's why we actually came and currently we're using the Earth Ranger. It's a software that we are actually using to track all the collared elephants. And, the rangers, the vehicles, and everything. The reports that are actually coming in. The Earth Ranger is actually in many sites currently. It's all over the Africa. Yeah, I think it's a good software that we are actually using as a project.
That's really
In
good.
mitigation, and let me just answer that question when it comes. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for letting us know that. But yeah, Earth Ranger is a really, really good tool. And I think quite a bit of conservancies are using it now. I think maybe the next question would be what challenges, what human wildlife challenges, were communities in the Mara facing that led to your team, deciding to adopt technology?
Okay, so thank you so much, Esther. So just to give you an introduction of how the Mara ecosystem looks like. So the Mara divided actually into three zones. So one is Maasai Mara Game Reserve, and then we have the conservancies, and then now we have the community settlement area. That is where people say a lot of farming going on. So the conflict that we have right now is the elephants moving out of the reserve and the conservancy heading towards the community area. And some of these places have been fenced with electric fences, and the elephants are breaking up the fences going in. So currently, what the bigger challenge is actually moving those elephants out of the settlement, go back to the conservancy or to the national reserve. Here is actually comes when an elephant gets into the fence. This is actually breaking the fence, but when it is inside, it becomes very difficult and hard for that elephant to come out. So as the Mara Elephant Project, where we started with many tools on how we can actually push these elephants to come out of the fence.
Okay.
It was actually, we started by, because people shoot the elephants with the arrows and spears. So we started by putting up a chili fence around the farm. But we came to realize that the elephants are breaking these chili fences, and the farmers were really struggling to maintain the fence. And we came up with another idea of chili balls. So the chili balls is actually, let me try to explain it. Is actually a ball with a chili inside.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a charcoal ball. So if you throw and
Mm-hmm.
hit an elephant or even hit a ground or a tree,
Mm-hmm.
so the chili will break and splash to the elephants.
Oh, yeah, and that
And
can be irritating. Mm-hmm.
yeah, this was really good because it was pushing elephants to come out of that fence.
Mm-hmm.
Also the elephants are like, if they're running, they might go and injure people, kill people on the process of that.
True.
So we also come up with the idea and we introduced the drones.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing with the drone is that the elephants are afraid of the drone
Mm-hmm.
because of the drum. And the drone you can actually monitor where you're chasing your elephants. This is actually will actually help you to avoid people, houses, and direct
Mm-hmm.
elephant to where you want them to go.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a license from the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority. We train
Mm-hmm.
rangers as the pilots. So
Mm-hmm.
currently we have 17 trained uh, and actually licensed pilots who can actually fly the drone. We have also drones in all the ranger stations. So anytime that we are called to go and move the elephant, the rangers could just go and chase those elephants with the drone.
Mm-hmm.
And that so far very successful.
Mm-hmm.
And we are actually looking for many ways on how we can
Mm-hmm.
respond to things. Elephants are very clever and intelligent, so they can really learn the drone. So we are looking
Mm-hmm.
for a way how we can actually make sure that the elephants don't really get to understand the drone.
Oh, wow, that's really great. And I love the evolution of the tech that you've been using because you started here and then
Yeah.
you're adopting as things change, as you learn more about the elephants, you adopt more adaptable technology, which is really great. And so you've mentioned Earth Ranger, you've mentioned drones, you told us about the chilies. Are there any other tech tools that you're using, softwares, mobile apps? Is there any other tech beyond that you found, okay, this was effective, or maybe one that you were like, no, this one was not effective, it didn't really help us?
So another technology that we are using is the collars that elephants are carrying.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a program and these collars to send us a mobility and the geofence alert.
Mm-hmm.
So the geofence is we have created geofences in the area that we think it is danger and good zone for the elephants. So if I
Mm-hmm.
call cross that geofence, these are not the real fences actually. So if I call the elephant cross that, and then the caller send us a geofence alert message.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we have what we call a proximity alert when an elephant is actually getting closer to the fence. And then that caller sends us a geofence alert. And then in that case, we have been able to deploy the rangers and to push elephants back before they get into that red fence.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the technology that we have actually deployed and it doesn't, and we find it not working.
Mm-hmm.
And the technology that we are actually currently trying is, I can actually say it's working, like the drones,
Mm-hmm.
the collar, and all
Mm-hmm.
that. The one that has actually failed is just that the wild app that
Mm-hmm.
really failures on
Yeah.
the rangers were learning.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the challenges with the technology is actually the education level of the rangers and people that are using this technology. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
So you would say that there's quite a bit of need to upskill and train ranges on conservation tech tools.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the bigger challenge with the drone is a lot of regulation from the civil aviation.
Yeah.
So really, that one is another bigger challenge, but we are actually following the rules and the regulation that is KCA and it's for us to fly there.
All right. That's really, it's good to know that sometimes, there's this really innovative tech that you want to adopt, but there are quite a bit of obstacles or hurdles before, it can actually be adopted successfully. Have you
Ex-
faced any other challenges in regards to conservation tech, whether it's adopting it or getting access to it? Have there been any other obstacles or barriers that you feel maybe this are even the solutions to how we can address those?
yeah, some of the challenges, just like the one I mentioned,
Yeah.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
the drone, which is very strict. The government is actually strict
Mm-hmm.
on drones. And then in Earth range and technology is actually how will these people, like the community people, understand the technology that we are using. So you take off with a drone and the people are running because they're afraid of drones. So this is something that you need actually go and talk with the community. First of all, let them understand the drone is the harm. Or at least that if you take off, people don't run and run towards the elephant. So yeah, so
There's a
those,
need for community engagement
yeah.
and letting them know about the tech as well. All right, that's really great. I think my final question would be, what would you like to see in terms of the tech that you're adopting or you're using? Is there something you've thought of and you're like, wow, if we could get access to that technology, we would solve, 90% of the problems that we're facing in human wildlife conflict? Is there any maybe tech you've seen being used in other parts of the world that you'd love to use in the Mara? Or is there any way you feel like the tech you're using can be, modified or advanced to help you, solve some of the problems, in a more effective way?
Uh, uh, how do I answer that? Let me say this. The technology that we're using currently is really helpful. And if this can be rolled out in all the
Mm-hmm.
conservations, like the
Mm-hmm.
Conservancy, the Reserve, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone can have
Mm-hmm.
this technology, I
Mm-hmm.
think this will be help in reducing human elephant conflict. And
Mm-hmm.
then also, as we also learning some new techniques and skills that elephants are, anything that elephants don't really like for example, right now
Mm-hmm.
we have started an experimental farm. So the experimental farm is actually a farm that we have grown or planted different types of crops,
Mm-hmm.
more than six different crops. And the farm is open for the elephants. So the elephants are going to the farm. It's like a supermarket. When you go to the supermarket, you choose you
Mm-hmm.
choose like. So for
Uh-huh.
the elephant, well, so they are just coming into the farm, go around the different crops, choose the one they
Mm-hmm.
want, they don't want. So what we are learning here is actually elephant selection to crops. Which crops do elephants feed on and which one they don't. So in that
Uh-huh.
case, we can actually go to the community and let them know and which crops they can actually grow. We are also trying to understand the market. If this crop, if the community grow this crop, can they get a market for this crop? Can
Mm-hmm.
the crop be used by the community? Can they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we don't actually just want to go to the community and tell them go for lavender. Where do they get a market for?
Mm-hmm.
And go for sunflower. Go for chili. Is will the Kenya people buy the chili?
Mm-hmm.
So we are actually learning and understanding how these elephants behave, and actually we we want actually to come up with a level of planting. For example, if I plant a chili at the edge of the farm, will this elephant cross that chili and come to the maize?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can chili, go to the lavender, go to the sunflower, and then at the last level you have the maize. So maybe
Uh-huh.
the elephant cross all these crops come into the maize. So we are actually learning, and we want to share this to the other people, and maybe we
Mm-hmm.
can reduce conflict.
That's really great to hear. And I love the community element where you're not just coming up with solutions, you're working with the local communities to
Yeah,
understand the elephants, to understand that
yeah,
human wildlife conflict, and then from there you're then devising the solution. So I think that's really great. That is a very holistic approach to solving human wildlife conflict, which is really amazing. But yeah, I think for me the key takeaways here is that it's very important to upskill the rangers who are out there in the conservancies on some of these, conservation technologies and how to use them. And it's extremely important to involve the community. I think that's something that you've mentioned that is really, really important that I think we should take into consideration as we develop conservation tech and
okay,
adopt it in different spaces. So thank you so much for that. I think that those are very key lessons, I think, for every conservation technologist who's developing or using technology in out in the wild. So thank you so much, Wilson, again for making time. Really
okay.
appreciate you, contributing to this discussion. I think you have some, wonderful insights. You've been using this for quite a bit of time, so
Yeah.
your contribution and your perspectives are so vital. So thank you so much again for speaking with me.